Hi, my name is Hannah Yuri, and I am a certified trauma-informed yoga teacher. I invite you to join me today for a session that hopefully will increase a sense of safety in your body. This is going to be a really grounding session, and for it, you might find it helpful to have 2 blankets or maybe even beach towels if you have those on hand, or just regular towels, and a bolster. And if you don't have a bolster, you could just grab some like thick couch cushions or just regular pillows, maybe some thick pillows, and stack them on top of one another and set them on your mat if you'd like to have the support of those. And as we begin this session, I invite you to decide if you'd like to come into a supported seated shape, or if you'd like to come into a supported balasana, child's shape. So I'll show you the child shape. That's how I'll recommend that we start today. However, if that's not supportive to your body in this moment, you can find a seated shape. So if you are choosing to come into child shape, then I invite you to take the knees a little bit wider, wide enough so that you can draw your bolster or your stacked pillows close to you and set it in between the knees. And your toes might even be touching right back behind you. And option here to take your second blanket, with the first one being underneath your knees for comfort. You don't have to have this here. Maybe the floor that you're on is soft, but if the floor is hard, it might be helpful to have a blanket underneath the knees for comfort. And with the second blanket, you could wrap it around your back body, creating this sense of wrapping yourself in a hug, creating hopefully a sense of safety. And the blanket is also helpful because it provides a little bit of extra coverage. So you don't have to use the blanket, but if you want to, you can. And deciding if you'd like to come into our child's shape here, which I'll show you what that looks like if you are unfamiliar with it. Coming down toward your bolster or your pillows and resting. Perhaps bringing one cheek to the bolster or the pillows, maybe even wrapping your arms around the support right in front of you. And this is option 1. Option 2 is to simply find a seated shape, maybe even sitting on top of your pillows or your bolster. And again, wrapping the blanket around you if you'd like to. So with that, I welcome you to find whichever shape suits you in this moment. Beginning to bring some awareness to what is supporting you. Perhaps allowing your body to sink a little bit deeper into the support under you if it feels safe. And if you'd like to work with an affirmation today for our short practice, I offer you 2 choices. The first affirmation being, it is safe to be in my body. The second affirmation, if you prefer it, is, I am creating safety in my body. So holding whichever one feels true for you, or creating an affirmation of your own. And I invite you to be here in this supported child shape or seated shape for the next 8 rounds of breath. Simply bringing awareness to your physical body and noticing where you are resting in space. If your fingertips are touching the floor, or your hands are touching the floor, you might even feel the texture underneath your hands. Or you might feel the texture of the blanket that's wrapped around you. Taking your time. There's no rush here. Perhaps even noticing your breath as it begins to move in and out, or rather continues to move in and out. Knowing that you can breathe at your own pace, in your own way. And you can choose to stay here in this shape for as long as you like. Or if you are ready to begin moving out of this shape, we'll start to find completion here with our last breath in and out. If you want to add movement back into the body, you could begin to slowly find your way up. Coming up just enough to move any bolster or pillows that are in front of you. You can set those to the side. And here, I invite you to find a half frog shape. And so we can find our way down onto our stomachs. And perhaps you even leave the blanket over you, so maybe even adjusting the blanket. But so that you can see me, I'm going to set mine to the side just for right now. And if you'd like to join me for half frog shape, you could come down onto your stomach, allowing the legs to stretch out back behind you. And then drawing the right knee up or your left, it really doesn't matter which one. You could draw one leg up, perhaps even allowing the knee to be in alignment with your hip. However, it doesn't have to be. Perhaps your ankle floats beneath your knee. Maybe you create this 90-degree angle here. And again, it doesn't have to be exact, but this is one way it could look. You could also release down, resting your head and your chest on the earth beneath you. And again, option to cover yourself with your blanket. Beginning to settle into this shape in any way that feels right to you. And if having your knee lifted does not feel safe, you don't have to do it. You could choose to simply have both legs extended down, just straight out and just resting on your stomach. So wherever it feels safest to you, I invite you to find that space now, knowing that you can change your mind at any time. You can try both and decide which one you like best, because there's no right or wrong here. It's totally your preference. And I invite you to be here in this shape for the next 6 rounds of breath, wherever you're at. Perhaps even bringing awareness back into the breath. If your stomach is connected to the floor beneath you, you might even notice how it feels to breathe into your stomach as your stomach expands with breath, feeling it press into the floor, providing some feedback. Take about 3 more rounds of breath here. Taking your time and enjoying this moment of reprieve. Last round of breath. And if you feel complete on this side, because you could choose to stay longer, but if you're ready for the next side, you might begin to extend your leg down and maybe even switch to the next side. Adjusting your blanket as needed. And if you had one cheek to the floor, you might turn your head and turn your opposite cheek to the floor. Adjusting your leg. If you decided to draw the opposite knee up, adjusting it so that you feel supported here. Six rounds of breath on this side, if you'd like. You might even bring to mind the affirmation that you decided to work with at the beginning of class. Perhaps it was, "It is safe to be in my body." Or maybe it was, "I am creating safety in my body." As we take about 2 to 3 more rounds of breath here. And deciding if you'd like to stay in this shape longer. There's no rush to leave this shape if you are continuing to enjoy it. And if you are ready to leave this shape, you might begin to extend both legs down, stretching them out. And in your own timing, coming back up into any seated shape, if and when you are ready to do so. Perhaps even continuing to use your blanket to cocoon you, cover you and create some safety. Option to bring your hands to heart center. And I invite you to take one collective breath with me, starting with an exhale out and a breath in. It is my hope that you feel safe, connected, and at home in your body. My name is Hannah, and I invite you to stay in this state as long as you need. Return to this practice as often as you need. And join me for any other practices that you can find on my channel. Thank you.